Samsung's 3nm yields, which were at an abysmal 20% previously, have increased by 3 times but still trails behind TSMC, claims tipster. A Samsung engineer examining a semiconductor wafer, image credits, AFP. Samsung's struggles in bringing up the yields of its 3nm GAA process were well known, but there is a positive update that a tipster provided, claiming that the Korean giant's foundry has managed to increase that number to 3 times the original figure. This means that the previous 10-20% yields of the 3nm process are now hovering between 30-60%. While these are improvements, the company continues to trail behind TSMC, and there are rumors claiming that Samsung placed more stock in its second-generation 3nm GAA process. Second-generation 3nm GAA node rumored to be more promising, with Samsung seemingly targeting TSMC's N3P technology. With TSMC aggressively scaling its 3nm wafer production to an estimated 100,000 monthly units this year, Samsung has little chance of catching up to its foundry rival. Then again, for the past few years, the Taiwanese semiconductor behemoth has seen little to no competition in this space, but Samsung continues to make remarkable efforts, regardless of the continuous setbacks it has to endure. Now, according to the tipster Revenus, the second-generation 3nm GAA process is showing a ton of promise, with improvements rumored to be seen on the power consumption, performance, and logic area fronts. While the yields were not mentioned for the second-generation 3nm GAA process, it is said to be on par with TSMC's N3P node. Samsung has to make additional optimizations to its yields, as an earlier report stated that it needs to raise that value to 70%. Before it can regain the confidence of previous clients such as Qualcomm. There were also rumors that Samsung was investing more in its 2nm technology for future orders, but it turns out that these 2nm wafers were actually 3nm ones carrying a different name. Exclusive, Samsung's 3nm yield related news. Currently, Samsung's 3nm yield, which initially hovered around 10 to 20%, has recently improved by over threefold. Of course, this figure remains lower compared to TSMC, which still utilizes FinFET technology. However, Samsung has high. Revenus, @tech_rev, March 22, 2024. So far, apart from fulfilling cryptocurrency mining hardware orders on the 3nm GAA process, there are no other updates on Samsung bringing additional customers into the fold. It is possible that these companies were not impressed with the early samples and have decided to stick with TSMC for the foreseeable future. However, that does not mean that Samsung is not committed to making adjustments, but it will take a while before it poses a proper threat to its foundry nemesis.